Hey everyone, it's Chris Hall here from Trailblazer Studios in Raleigh, North Carolina, coming to you with another episode of Anatomy of a Grade. Well, it's the start of a new year. I have a new home here in Raleigh, Durham at Trailblazer Studios. I'm excited about that, but I'm excited to get back to Anatomy of a Grade and get a new episode out there. It's been too long, so let's dive right in. So today I want to take a look at what is often called the California look. Sometimes people refer to this as the Miami or the beach look, but basically it's any look that's characterized by a heavy warming or yellowing of the highlights to give an image that kind of golden beach-like sunny day kind of feel. The shot I want to look at today is a shot of an actress on the beach with a surfboard. It was shot on the red camera. It was transcoded to ProRes using the red Gamma 3, red color 3 settings. Here's the raw footage. Obviously very flat, but I'm looking at it initially and seeing we have an opportunity to do something nice with color contrast here. She's wearing this green blue, more green than blue, but a green blue top. And I think already, you can see the rest of her swimsuit is yellow. So we've got a great opportunity for color contrast that's already built into it there. If we can add more yellow throughout the frame, I think that would play nicely with what she's wearing. And I think that's why this California look is going to work on a shot like this because we inherently have some color contrast to use. So here's my base grade, and you can see all I've done is just added a little bit of warmth to the highlights, a little bit of contrast overall, and done a little counterbalance in the midtones to compensate for this. So overall, it's a warmer look, not by much, but just a little contrast and a little warmth. That's a very basic balance for the shot. So now comes the quote-unquote California part of the look, and it's that heavy yellow in the highlights. And you can see here's the move. We're adding yellow, red, orange to the highlights, and because we're doing so much of that, it actually slightly brightens the highlights a little bit to the eye. So this is a pretty good quote-unquote California look. This is what we normally associate with it. It looks like a warm sunny day. We've got yellow all over the highlights. We've got a nice contrast with a blue-green source here. A lot of people would just call this done, but we want to take it a step further and build in a little bit more color contrast into the image. So we're going to do that by isolating the concrete back here. I'm looking at this concrete, and honestly it looks a little bit warm to my eye. That's probably the color it was with the light bouncing off the sand and reflecting onto it. But I think we've got a great opportunity there. If we have warm highlights, why not have cool shadows? These actually are more in the midtones than the shadows, but I think this is a perfect opportunity to throw in some blue here and add some additional contrast to this warmth in the highlights. So this is basically another simple key. I'll turn it on and off. On and off, and you can see what it's doing. It's basically a simple saturation and luminance key down here that's isolating just this area and adding blue into the midtones and shadows. And immediately this takes this image and elevates it, I think, personally. It's more stylized, obviously. I'm not denying that. But it's giving us some nice color contrast with the warmth and the highlights. And from there, it's just basically some simple cosmetic adjustments to take this image to the final state. I'm just going to enhance her shirt color a little bit more blue-green here and brighten it up a little. We've also added a lot of denoising to get rid of a lot of the compression artifacting going on. Next, I'm going to brighten her face using a simple power window. I'll show you how I did that right here. Before, after. It's a simple, soft, circular power window. I've additionally darkened the area outside the window with this node here, and that's really just to kind of further direct the eye right to her face first thing so that she's kind of the focal point of the shot. Additionally, because we've brightened her face using our gain control here, we've introduced a little bit of saturation to her skin tone. So I've got another node here that's a simple skin key, and it's just slightly bringing down the saturation of her skin, as well as doing a little bit of a pro misting effect here. You can see I've just got a slight mist on her face to kind of ease out some of the detail there. And the last step is just a simple circular vignette across the whole image. This is not necessary when doing this look, and honestly, some people might prefer it like this. In this particular case, we thought it gave it a more vintage type of feel, and I do like that we're getting a darker, richer blue down here in the shadows when we do that. So we added it in this case. It's not 100% necessary, but that's the look. You can see it's really the yellow-blue color contrast along with the green on her shirt that sells this look. We got to be careful when we do kind of the California look because you can wash the image in color. And I think that's kind of dangerous because when you do that, and I'll show you on the next shot, when you just do that color wash, you end up with something that looks like this. It really just looks like yellow, kind of smoggy blah. It's uninteresting. And why? Because there's not a lot of color contrast going on in the shot. You can see in the original balanced image, we actually have more, but when we add this California look to the highlights, it becomes uninteresting and washy. So in this particular case, we added our blue by using it in the sky. We added a sky key here and further contrasting the yellow by doing that. And without that, I don't think this looks very interesting on a shot like this. So we found a different way to do it here, but it's still the same principle as the previous shot, using that color contrast of blue and yellow. If we look on the color wheel here, blue and yellow are opposite each other on the color wheel. And whenever we have a chance to take an opposite opposing primary color and introduce that kind of contrast into an image, I take it every time, and I think every colorist should, because it's more interesting to the eye and it gives a little bit more visual interest to a shot like this. So that's it for this episode of Anatomy of a Grade. I really hope you can take these principles of color contrast and use them when you're doing a look like the California look or any other look for that matter. If you're a colorist, they're easy principles to apply in any grade. And if you're a director or a cinematographer, just be aware of some of these issues in the color suite and talk to your colorist about it. Make sure that when you're doing these looks and kind of more edgy grades that you are not just washing the image in a color, but you're providing adequate color contrast across the image as well. It's really important to make the image more vibrant and not simply just monochromatic. So thanks for joining us. We'll be back very soon, hopefully, for another episode of Anatomy Grade. As always, you can check out my blog at chrishallcolor.blogspot.com and check out the website over at trailblazerstudios.com as well to take a look at what Trailblazer has and take a look at what we're doing down here in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. All right, see you next time.